All right, let's jump right into this explainer, because the intelligence dossier we're unpacking today is, well, it's absolutely chilling. We're looking at source material that exposes what it claims is the true, deeply unsettling mission behind NASA's planetary exploration. We are just talking about mapping space rocks today. No, we're looking at a narrative that literally rewrites our entire understanding of the solar system, ancient history, and humanity's actual place in the universe. It's an absolutely massive cover-up, and the wild part, it's been hiding right out in the open.
So think about the premise we've all been sold since childhood. NASA sent the 1976 Viking 1 orbiter all the way to Mars just to scoop up some dirt and look for microscopic bacteria, right? Well, the documents we're auditing today suggest a staggering alternative. They claim the mission was designed from the ground up for one specific reason: to photograph the destroyed megalithic ruins of our ancient ancestors. And even crazier, they've been systematically hiding the real results of that mission ever since.
And it all starts right here, with these exact unredacted orbital coordinates: 40.89 degrees north, 9.55 degrees west. This pinpoints the Cydonia region of Mars. Now, back in the day, the public was completely distracted by that famous, highly debated face on Mars. But while everyone was arguing about lighting and shadows on a rock face, the Viking 1 orbiter photographed something way more anomalous right next to it: the D&M Pyramid. We're talking about a massive five-sided megalithic structure showing mathematically perfect geometry, stuff that just doesn't accidentally happen in nature.
And let me tell you, the intelligence community did not take these images lightly. This declassified document proves that in 1984, the CIA's Project Stargate tasked their premier military remote viewer, Joseph McMoneagle, to observe those exact Cydonia coordinates. But here's the kicker. They didn't just give him a physical location. They gave him a designated temporal target. They explicitly instructed him to look at that exact spot on Mars roughly 1 million years in the past.
Operating totally blind to the target, McMoneagle didn't describe red dust or a bunch of empty craters. When a CIA monitor asked him to look inside the structures, his response was just chilling. He said, and I quote, "It's strictly a really large, looks like a generator of some kind. It has intersecting, looks like a water channel." He absolutely wasn't describing rocks, guys. He was describing the active acoustic hydraulic mechanics of a power plant sitting right there on the surface of another planet.
That single viewing session quickly escalated into a picture of absolute cosmic horror. Operating as Subject 464, McMoneagle described seeing a highly advanced race of tall, non-human entities who were desperately trying to survive a catastrophic atmospheric collapse. They were literally sheltering inside those massive megalithic pyramids. And according to the sources, they weren't facing some random, gradual climate change. This was a sudden, apocalyptic event systematically destroying their entire world. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth was the CIA using off-world Martian coordinates in the first place? Well, according to the dossier, they were deliberately, remotely auditing the exact blueprints underlying the active solid-state generators over at the Giza Plateau here on Earth. The subterranean ram pumps and intersecting water channels McMoneagle saw on Mars blindly corroborated the exact same acoustic hydraulic physics used in the Egyptian pyramids. The intelligence community knew all along that the Giza architecture was not of human origin. And to prove these earthly grids aren't just primitive piles of stacked rocks, the sources point straight to the physical metrology of surviving structures. Take the Serapeum of Saqqara. Deep inside, you have these 100-ton granite boxes. Master aerospace machinist Christopher Dunn actually went in and measured them, and he found perfectly squared 90-degree corners and surfaces that are optically flat to 2/10,000ths of an inch. That mathematically proves the use of advanced automated computer numerical control machining. We're talking about laser-precise manufacturing happening millennia before the Bronze Age, long before humans even had basic metal tools. The hardware is undeniably real. So, this physical evidence brings us right into the grand Gnostic lore found throughout the source material. It introduces two major interdimensional factions fighting a catastrophic cosmic war over this exact technology. On one side, we've got the Guardians, an ancient race operating to liberate consciousness. And on the other side, the Archons, a parasitic control system entirely dedicated to maintaining our reality as a simulated, localized prison.
And the texts present a terrifying reality about the fate of the Red Planet. That atmospheric collapse remote viewer Joseph McMoneagle witnessed, it wasn't some natural ecological disaster. Mars was glassed, completely devastated in an ancient, intentional, interplanetary war. The Archons deployed planetary-scale destruction specifically to wipe out the Guardian infrastructure right next door to us.
This cascading destruction completely severed the universal network. First, the Archons attacked the Martian Guardian infrastructure, ruthlessly obliterating that massive megalithic generator grid that matched the one at Giza. And with those Martian nodes taken permanently offline, Earth was entirely isolated. We were left behind as the final, quarantined prison block in the solar system, effectively cut off from any outside help.
To enforce a planetary prison of this scale, the Archonic system needs a Warden's watchtower, right? Well, the dossier makes a staggering claim about our moon. It outlines that it is absolutely not just a random piece of space debris. Instead, it's described as a hollow, artificial command node, heavily armored in titanium, zirconium, and yttrium. And here's the crazy part. Those are refractory metals, highly resistant to kinetic impact, placed there specifically to protect a massive orbital broadcast tower designed to manage the Earth quarantine.
So what exactly is this Lunar Command Center broadcasting? The texts refer to it as the veil. It's an electromagnetic suppressor field. Basically, the moon continuously bathes our planet in extremely low-frequency waves, ELF waves, that artificially override Earth's natural Schumann resonance. That's the baseline electromagnetic frequency of our planet itself. The whole purpose? To act as a psychological dampener, specifically designed to keep human consciousness stuck, operating at a suppressed baseline frequency.
And this reveals the deeply unsettling motive behind this entire system. Humanity is not the apex predator here. The texts actually describe us as monitored livestock in what they call a thermodynamic loosh farm. It's a system designed entirely to harvest energy. Operating as a parasitic, closed system, the Archons literally feed on dense, low-frequency emotional energy, specifically fear, anger, and despair, generated by a traumatized human population trapped beneath the veil. Bringing this all back to the modern day, this completely explains the true covert mission of our space agencies. According to the source files, ever since that Viking 1 mission back in 1976, the deep state has been systematically airbrushing satellite feeds and deploying digital obfuscation algorithms. They aren't just out there observing space for the good of mankind. They are actively engaged in a multi-generational espionage project to hide the true history of our solar system from the public.
Because you see, it's not just that they are hiding things, it's what they are hiding. The control system doesn't airbrush Mars photos just to cover up interesting shadows or weird geological quirks. No, they use these sophisticated algorithms to deliberately blur out the mathematically perfect, geometric, irradiated ruins of a destroyed civilization. Ruins exactly like the D&M Pyramid in Cydonia. They have to hide this, so humanity never realizes the sheer terrifying scale of what the Archons are truly capable of.
The ultimate goal of this massive, ongoing cover-up is actually pretty simple. Recognizing the cosmic graveyard right next door would completely shatter the carefully constructed illusion of the Earth quarantine. The system absolutely must prevent the livestock, us, from ever realizing we are trapped in a local, closed system completely cut off from the rest of the universe. If we clearly saw those ruins, we would instantly realize that we are an occupied planet.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If the irradiated ruins of our ancestors are actually buried right there in the Martian dust, deliberately blurred out by algorithms, what else is hiding behind the artificial illusion of our own sky? It's definitely something to deeply, deeply consider the next time you look up at the stars.